Okay, so I started a bullet journal for my wellness planner however many years ago, 2021. And in 2022, I did my best to try to keep up with it. It was really kind of a struggle bus. It really was. I liked um how a lot of my spreads did come out. This was my cover page with kind of my word for the year, bloom. My future log, which I ordered these stickers from Etsy. I don't remember where, but they came in very handy. My goals for the year, which in retrospect, I don't know if I met any of those. Pretty page, but beauty routines and hair that I didn't put down, my skincare routine that I kind of got off with after I had COVID, my travel log, my morning routine that I didn't keep. Oh, so yeah, this kind of got off somewhere in here too. I did actually do all of my appointments and then some. Oh, February. This was another spread I really loved. I think I did an Instagram reel showing you guys how I did that with stencils. I used that same Walmart heart stencil to build out this page, and I really love how it came down. Just flipping through that really quick. This was a stamp from Hobby Lobby that came in very handy. Yep. I started back my noon journey. This I really loved. Hand drawn bee stamps. Totally adorable. At this point, I had kind of decided that I was going back to my theme of the month in my catch-all, and what I was gonna do is mirror the theme in here to the theme in there. So if you recall, we did bees in March, we did bees here, and stamp bringing in those hexagons. This was a stamp that came in handy. I just didn't follow through filling it in. I may revisit this theme in 2023 because I really like it. May, all over the place, was supposed to be Mayflowers, but I like how that turned out. This is a builder stamp. And just kind of experimenting with that. This is also a stamp that I used. I wish I had. I did okay. I did okay here, keeping up, as well as documenting my noon journey. Okay, May. Let's talk about May. This is when I said I started traveling a lot. And I ran across one of my favorite Instagrammers, Juanita Johns, who has this great way of planning where a lot of times she will marry like traditional type planning with bullet journaling. Versus a lot of the elaborate hand-drawn full-scale works of art. It's a great happy medium between having a structured planner and having some creativity. So I kind of borrowed a page out of her book, and in May, the weeks that I knew I was going to be gone, I actually did weekly spreads in my bullet journal, in addition to my monthly wellness spreads, because it's a lot easier to just take this guy with me than to have this guy and try to log everything and try to carry this one with me. Not gonna happen. So this is the first spread that I attempted that with, and I really got bit with the bug in terms of this particular methodology. So shout out to Juanita Johns. This is 1 week. This is the following week. Both of these using the latest florals and teeny florals books. June, this is when I got sick, or shortly after. June was a crazy month. So as you can see, I meant well. I drew everything out and just never filled it in. So I might revisit this circle thing in 2023. Same thing here. I was traveling and I got sick while I was traveling. July, along with the fruit that you saw in the catch-all, I did a Galatians inspired month with, I think this is called Dutch Doors, a Dutch Door spread that I never actually filled out because I was feeling bad. But lemons, I think we're gonna revisit some iteration of lemons again this year. Another weekly that I did in a different iteration, as well as this one, which I did end up at least filling that out. August, stamps and pastels. Crayola came out with a new collection called The Colors of Kindness, which was interesting. The markers were available at Walmart, but the crayons were available at like Hallmark stores. But anyway, just kind of merging the pastels and soft florals. And I did really kind of get back on the wagon in August with that. September, we're going to revisit this because it could have been great. I really love that color combination and the chevron pattern. So, and then October. Feel like I was gone a lot in October too. And these are botanicals. Some of the flowers from the botanicals book. I did, okay. Another weekly that went pretty well. October. And then from then on, somewhere around November, I just stopped putting pressure on myself to do a whole lot. But one thing I will say while I'm in this book, just like I have here in the front spacing guide in my Bujo, I actually have went ahead and put together some layout guides in the back. So if you're a person that does weeklies or whatever in your bullet journal, it might be helpful to have some pages in the back that have layouts that you like already drawn, so you can go back and you really don't have to do all of that counting to figure out where stuff goes, and you have your ideas. A few, just to name a few. Okay, so that is the two main planners. Also sprinkled in there at some point, I ended up picking up this guy from Ross because Sweet Tea Gems did make a comeback. I don't have too much in this planner, but I did use it. And then y'all saw my very first plum paper planner, which I really enjoyed. I started off actually in a Happy Planner teacher planner for Mac the Maverick, and then I eventually transitioned into my plum planner, which I do plan on reordering for 2023, but I just have some things going on in life that are gonna keep me from really doing a lot with it for a month or so. So my plum paper planner, if you want to see how I use this and how I plan my Mac the Maverick, my blog, my content creation type stuff, I did do a video on that. And last but not least, somewhere along the course of the year, my life started to outgrow, my household life started to outgrow my catch-all planner again. And I also felt it prudent to have some sort of device that was accessible and understandable to my husband and my family in case something happened to me or whatever, just so it's there. So I went back to another Happy Planner teacher planner. I picked this up for probably $6 or $7 from Ross. And I'd done this before. I'd actually done this before, but I started back household planning in a household planner, keeping up with my husband's work schedule, our budget, our meals, and, you know, household maintenance and notes. And I really liked how this process went. The only thing I didn't like was how much modification I had to do to make this layout work. As you can see here, a teacher planner normally has the numbers here and is blank across the top. I ended up modifying this on the left hand side with the categories to help me compartmentalize, and then put the dates at the top. And that got to be overwhelming. It really did, to try to sit down and do that week over week and then go in and actually fill in the pages. So I did continue on with a household planner this year, but I opted to use a different one, a different brand, a different layout. And I'll show you all that in the next video. I know I said I wasn't gonna come on camera, but bam, here I am. If I had to recap the biggest lessons I learned, some reminders like embracing the white space. Number two, if the option or the decision is between decorating and not planning at all, the answer for me is always going to be plan. A lot of people, I feel like, especially new folks, kind of get hung up on that. Like, you get to that point where you have all this zest and all these ideas and all the things you want to do, and then you get stumped, and either you're able to press forward, or a lot of people will find that as a roadblock that causes them to completely not do anything, which defeats the purpose of planning for those of us who are planning for the sake of organization. So just forging forward, embracing that white space, embracing pen and paper for the sake of it actually being useful in life. The other lesson that I learned that also is good for people, whether you're doing this a long time or starting out, is that your planner should look like your life, not your life should look like your planner. I see a lot of questions out there about people wanting to know how to make their planner functional. Like you see all these designs on Instagram, and it's total regurgitation of rainbow and florals and jewels and washi and all that good stuff. And then they're like, but where do your plans go? No. If you're using your planner for a functional purpose, let your decoration be secondary. The same thing goes for your planning style. You've probably heard me say on this channel, if you've been around, that your planning style, your methodology of planning, your approach to planning will evolve, and it should evolve and adapt to your life. Half the battle, and I saw it in my life this year, was my life was changing, and changing so rapidly, and changing in many ways so drastically, but I was trying to shoehorn my life into the way I was planning instead of being more fluid and adapting the way I planned to what was happening in my life. And as you saw in the video, I had much more of a groove when I was open and flexible to make some changes based on what was actually going on, versus when I was still trying to make what I was doing work, even though what I was doing was designed to work for a different place in my life. Also along that line, you saw that I started with 3 planners at the beginning of the year. Somewhere in the middle of the year, I ended up with 5 planners. And then by the end of the year, I was back down to 2, 3 that I wasn't really using. Like by the time November and December came along, I was just making lists on paper. And I am a person that legit needs to compartmentalize for, a few different reasons. Like, for instance, this is my catch-all. The reason I have a separate work planner, because it ain't no way this is gonna fit into this. It's just not gonna happen. And I ended up having to go separately. But that's not always effective or efficient. So this year, I have found some ways to have some compartmentalization, but in a more centralized way. And I'll be sharing that in an upcoming video when I show you guys my planners for this year. So just being honest, taking a step back, asking yourself, is this working or not? And for me, I got to a place in the year where it was not working. I learned a lot about myself, about my planning style. As you saw, I picked up some new techniques that did work that I'm going to try to implement on a broader scale in 2023, because I just really liked how it worked out. But man, 2022 was a rough year period, and it was a rough year in my planner life as well. And I wanted to show you guys that. I wanted to show you all my favorites. I wanted to show you all my fail, because I know, just based on a lot of the questions I see, people are having those issues, and I don't want anybody out there to feel ashamed or feel just like down and out. Like, man, I see all these people doing before the pins for 5 different planners every year, and I can't stay consistent with one. Or this is my first year planning and I'm having issues. This is my 6th I think this is my 6th year doing this. And year 5 is where I hit a slump. I've been consistent in doing everything I was supposed to do, and everything was running like a well-oiled machine until I got far enough in my journey where it was just like, blah, I don't like this. I don't even feel like doing this. So don't be discouraged about that. Sometimes your creativity will ebb and flow. Sometimes your consistency will take a hit if your life changes. um, and I'm just kind of learning within myself when to push, when to pull back, when to fight, when to let go, just across the board. So I hope that somebody got some value out of this walk down memory lane. Maybe you got some ideas for some spreads you might want to try, some techniques you might want to use. Also, yes, I forgot to mention Max Method. I developed a 4-step planning method that worked really, really well for me in like 2021. And I stopped using it in 2022 and I noticed the difference. I am going to reinstitute and re-implement that method. If you want to check that out, I do have a video on this channel showing you how I define my plans, refine my plans, record them, and review them for a more efficient and more streamlined planning process. It really does work, and I'm going to return to it in 2023. But with this being said, like I mentioned, I hope this helps somebody. I hope that this inspires somebody that if you did get off track in the last couple years or whenever or last month, you can get back on. It is possible. Don't beat yourself up, and there is a way out of the hole. So I will see you guys for something. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better and less sniffly. And I love y'all. I just really, really do, and I'm glad to be back. So as always, do what you love what you do, and keep at it. And if you get off, come on back. And I'll see you guys for the next one.